Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
The question that I have today is, my husband and I have been married for about 12 and a half years. We have one 8-year-old child. And back in 2018, I became disabled, and I'm not able to work very much. My income is roughly $1,000 a month for both myself, and I receive a little for my child. It's a lot on my husband. He is a diesel mechanic. He was in the military for 4 years and got out. It was not much money at all. He got out. We quit traveling with the military and came back home to Georgia. And he went to college to be a diesel mechanic. I was in college to be a surgical technician, and of course was unable to fulfill those dreams. I have been back to college trying to finish, but it's proven to be very difficult. I've been going back to college on and off for the last 8 years, but just dealing with, the stress of being disabled is tough. So we have no savings. We live in a single-wide trailer. I drive a vehicle that I bought about 5 years ago for $5,000. I do not have a car payment. We don't live beyond our means. We try to, financially speaking, we try to live, smart, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
But we have no savings. We've been married for 12 years, and lately our trailer needs a lot of attention. Probably close to about maybe $30,000 or $40,000 worth of work to it, which we can't afford. We'd have to take out a loan in order to, but it's just, and we go back and forth about, well, do we take out more loan? Do we take out another loan to try to fix things up, or could we possibly buy a house within the next 5 or 10 years? It doesn't look possible, but I feel like financially we're not in a very good position. He doesn't want to go back to college because, of course, that puts the stress of, I don't think it could be possible for us to live on $12,000 a year. Mm-hmm. It would be really hard. You know what I mean? So
what's he making right now?
Roughly $50,000 a year.
Okay. And do you guys have any debt?
Just what we owe, what we're left owing on the trailer, and he owns a vehicle that we have a payment on. He pays about $650 a month for his vehicle.
Whoa.
Good God. That's a huge chunk of money right there.
What's left on that loan for the vehicle?
Roughly about 30 to 35 maybe. It's a 2019 F-150.
Does he need that for work? Can he get a 2010 F-150 that does the same thing?
It's possible that he could do away with the truck, but his argument is, it would save us $7,800 a year. And I get that's a lot of money, but $7,800 a year, that's kind of like, his argument is, I work, I earn the money for the household. I would like to have a nice vehicle to drive because we don't have much. I mean, honestly, we
yeah, but you're also making no progress. If I was able to just give you a $10,000 raise, it would change your life.
Right.
That's $10,000 in savings you could have by the end of the year by getting rid of this truck.
Right.
So we've got to make some changes if you guys want a different life. Otherwise, we're going to stay in this cycle.
And what I'm going to say is going to sound not compassionate, and I don't mean that in any way. When we did the millionaire study here at Ramsey Solutions, we found the number 3 on the millionaire list was teachers. Teachers. That's $50,000 to $60,000 a year, and at the time it was less than that, but inflation was less. Okay.
Right.
And there's some discussion about, well, teachers are really good at planning because that's what they do for a living, and so they're good at planning their expenses. I have a different theory because my wife was a teacher, and my wife bought a Corolla, and you know why? Because she knew I was only going to make $50,000 a year forever, and she made peace with a certain kind of life. And what your husband wants is both and. He wants to be a diesel mechanic, which is an incredible, noble, necessary job. But for whatever reason, he's a diesel mechanic that makes $50,000 a year. That's the job he has accepted and the path he's accepted. With that mathematical reality, you don't also get to say, while my family is living in a depreciating asset home, a trailer that is falling apart around you, I deserve this truck. I get to have this. Because we made some choices about math with our job. We made some choices about our career path. All good. But you don't then get to say, math doesn't count. My family's future doesn't count because I get what I want. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right. That does make sense.
So if he chose to be a diesel mechanic and he chose to work his way up and become a manager of other diesel mechanics and to one day own his own diesel mechanic shop, great. With that will come a bunch more stress, and with that should come a bunch more money.
Mm-hmm.
And with that new money, go buy yourself a new F-150. You can't afford that now. And all of these things are a series of choices. Your situation, your health, was probably not a choice. What happened to you where you can't work?
Multiple sclerosis. I was in a wheelchair back in 2018.
Are you out of a wheelchair now?
I am out of a wheelchair
Congratulations, sister. You've been working hard, haven't you?
Well, life is very hard.
It is.
And I am a substitute teacher in my hometown, and it is $100 a day, but there's 170 school days. So, I mean, I cannot physically work.
Sure.
All 107. I'm actually only able to work about roughly 5 on a good month, days out of the month.
Okay.
That's not a lot of money. So, and I'm super, don't get me wrong. I'm so thankful for our house.
Oh, I don't hear 1 ounce of a lack of gratitude. I hear somebody who's very, very tired.
Yes.
Most
and
husbands.
That's exactly what it is.
I don't say most husbands. That's not fair. I don't want to overgender it. Most people need to hear that from you. Hey, honey, I can't sleep at night. We have to do something different because I'm just looking and we keep doing the same thing over and we keep getting frustrated that the same thing is resulting in the same thing.
Right. So, okay, the truck, if he bought a cheap little dinger car, $2,000, $3,000, we do not have a payment that takes care of, we could have $8,000 extra dollars a year. But ideally, what's the goal? I would like to have a savings, and we've been married for 12 years. And at this point, I'm like, what are we doing with our lives? So what type of advice
if he sells the truck, that's one part. If he can increase his income, whether that's with his core full-time work or extra work, that's more income. If you can increase your income a little bit by doing something different, that's more income. And I would stop sinking money into this trailer, and I would go rent somewhere while you continue to save up the emergency fund and then save up to get a house one day.
Okay.
And guess what? 5-10 years of savings, you'll be able to have that house. Or we could be right where we are, fixing up an old trailer that's going down in value while we drive our nice truck that's going down in value while we make no progress.
Right.
That's the current status. And I think you're worth more than that.
And I think all of this happens with a conversation where you have a neighbor that will come watch your kid for a few hours in the morning, and you and your husband go have breakfast somewhere, and y'all say, okay, we've been together for 12 years. You've served our country. You've gone to school. I'm seeing you provide. I'm working hard. I'm out of a wheelchair. I'm working when I can. We've gone nowhere for a decade, and in 10 years from now, I want things to look different. What must be true today so that 10 years from now, things look different?
That makes a lot of sense.
And then we're just going to build a map. And that's going to include you having hard conversations like, we can't afford this truck and I know you want it and I want you to have it, but we have a math problem right now.
Okay.
Okay? And this is a rebuild. We're going to rebuild our marriage the same way as we're going to rebuild our finances. And none of this is easy. You're going to choose your hard path. The hard path of continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and end up 10 years from now just further behind, just with more repairs on a trailer. Or we're going to do the hard thing, and 10 years from now, like George said, we're moving into a new house that we put 40% down on. And it's going to look very, very different.
Thanks for the call.
You get to choose.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.